Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren and today we are doing a fun Halloween pick a card reading. Now even if you're watching this a really long time from now, it's not Halloween, that is okay. I am setting the intention that no matter where you are, this reading is relevant, no matter how old it is. So today we're going to be talking to a relative in spirit. And so if you're new to pick a cards, definitely don't skip this part, because I want to explain kind of how this will work with a pick a card reading. So if you're new here, please subscribe. I do pick a card readings every now and then. I also do private readings as well if you want to reach out to me on my website. And I also have a bunch of other videos on psychic development tips and exercises that you can do. So I'm really just using these cards as support. I am a medium, and so I'm going to be using my intuitive abilities and basically taking some time to call in any spirits that want to communicate with me through these cards. Now, obviously, this is going on YouTube. There are going to be a lot of people watching it. So how does that work? And so basically, I'm setting the intention that each pile is going to represent a different group. And in these groups, there might be just a piece of a message that resonates with you. There might be the whole entire message that resonates with you. And even though this pile might be for several people, I really think that spirit comes together to give shared messages. They will, find similar people that need to hear the same message, and they'll just make sure that no matter what you need to hear is in there in that group. And they like to get to several people at once. So there might be some things in these piles that don't resonate. It's okay, you can throw those out. And there might be a lot of it that resonates. There might be more than one pile that resonates. So how this works is you're going to want to pick a pile 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'll give you a few minutes to meditate on them. And then what you'll do is you'll go to the timestamp below, find the pile number that you're most drawn to, and then you can click that time code to go to your reading. And when you do this meditation, I want you to think of who you want to connect with. But be open too, because somebody might be coming through that's more important. Now, if you don't have anyone in spirit that you're specifically wanting to talk to, know that this could be a guide, it could even be an ancestor, or it could just be several of your family members. But let's jump into the meditation if you aren't sure which card you want already. Imagine the loved one that you want to connect with. Picture them in your mind. Call out their name 3 times and ask for them to communicate through these cards to you. So pile number 1, let's get to your reading. It's very interesting to feel multiple energies going on here, but these are the first 2 cards that I pulled, and I'm basically asking what is this person that's coming through for you, how are they related to you, just so we can identify them in case they aren't exactly who you called in. I feel like with these cards, I feel like this is actually describing them a little bit. So you can figure out who they are. I feel like the gossip card is sort of like maybe who they were in this life. Maybe they were very into other people's drama. They talked a lot about others. I feel like they might have left this earth with like a lot of secrets. I feel like they were just caught up in everyone else's stuff. And the fact that I pulled the addict card next to this, I feel like this could mean 2 things. They could have been just addicted to the drama and all of that, or they could have died because of something like this, because they had an addiction. Now, this doesn't always mean like, an addiction to drugs. It could just be an addiction to something that was unhealthy for them, and maybe that's how they passed. Now, just to further understand who they might be if you're still struggling, I am going to use these Astrodice Astrodice dice that I have made, and if you want to have your own, you can purchase one on my website. So these are my Halloween Astrodice. So These have little pumpkins on the inside, so these are kind of my Halloween themed ones. I purposely didn't paint them so that you could see the pumpkins inside. But one of the ways that you can use Astrodice is to figure out the signs of who this person might have been. So I'm just like feeling 2s today, so I'm gonna roll this twice. Okay, so they might have been a Pisces, and they might have been a Taurus, or they might have had that somewhere in their chart. And the fact that like I pulled Pisces and Taurus, even if you feel like that doesn't apply, when I think of Pisces and Taurus energy, Pisces are so much like in their head, in the clouds. They have a very hard time being present here on this earth, which makes so much sense with these cards. You know, sometimes if somebody is so like caught up in other people's junk, other people's like other people's lives and like what other people are saying about them, you know, it can be very hard to live in the present moment and enjoy living here. And Pisces are also one of the most addictive signs that are out there. And then Taurus I feel like are so bullheaded sometimes that they have a hard time accepting that, you know, they need to change or they need to do something different because they're so strong-willed and they just want to push back against everything. So, you know, these might be things to describe this person. Now, if you are my family member and watching this, I think this pile is exactly who we think it is. I'll just say that. I don't know how much of my family is watching this, but now in regards to their passing. So these are some mediumship cards. Oh my gosh, chills. Okay, I love these. These cards are great and I have them linked down below because they basically act as like phrases that this person might say. So I am here helping you and I had to leave that way. So this person I'm definitely getting just probably had not the best exit, and there's probably a lot of guilt that you're holding on to because it's like, well, how could I have helped them? You know, how could I have done things for them? But really they had a lot of like things that they were addicted to in some way or form, and they had a really hard time just being present on earth and just, you know, playing this game is what they're saying, of like doing this dance of like being with other people and putting on this face, and it was very difficult for them. And so I feel like a lot of your relatives in this pile might have passed from suicide. It could have just been a very slow addiction, like drinking themselves into a sickness. You know, like it was self-imposed. But know that sometimes this happens because these people came into this life to really try to find a way out of that, to see if they could figure out how to heal from it, to do better this time around. And so the fact that they're saying I had to leave that way, to me this is saying like there's nothing you could have done. This was the path that I chose. I made these life choices and there's nothing you can do about that. Like there's nothing to regret. Like that's the biggest message that I'm getting. I'm here helping you. I think sometimes when we think of our loved ones that are past, we just think of them as gone, like gone. And, you know, every now and then we think, okay, well, maybe I can connect with them and send them love. But this is like really taking it to the next level of like, no, I can help you with things in life. I can help you with anything that you need. Like if you want guidance on something, if you want me to help you manifest something I'm hearing, like I am here. I have the ability to be on this side and do something for you. Like we can be a team. I'm in this world, you're in that world. Let's try to manifest something together. I'm just getting so many chills because it's weird because I feel like I'm speaking to one person, but I'm also speaking to like a ton of people. It's almost like they're choosing one voice to speak for all of them. It's kind of cool. The next thing I wanted to ask was a message from them. I knew this card was going to come up. We got the Underworld and Trick or Treat. Now, I freaking love this card. So this Underworld card is basically saying like, you know, what is your immediate reaction when you hear the Underworld card? You're probably like, oh God, they're stuck in hell or something like that. Really, the underworld has always actually been seen as like a place, an in-between place, not even like purgatory, not even a place where you're stuck, but it's where all things pause and begin again. It's where you go to rest, to figure out what you're going to do next. And I just want to pull the book on this because I know I'm missing something here that's important. I think you guys are worried that they might be in hell, and this is really saying that the Christian hell is a place of darkness, fire, and punishment. But in older cultures, the Egyptian underworld is one of judgment, peace, and renewal. Maori culture, it's an in-between place of waiting, wisdom, and transition. But many kind of underlying things are that it's a place of waiting, and it can also be a place of joy and peace because you're in between. You don't have the crazy crap that's happened in this life to really bother you. So really this underworld card is just honestly so beautiful. I love it because it's basically saying that, there might be a fear here that they're stuck, especially with the way that they left. But the underworld is a place of peace. It's a place of renewal. They're figuring out kind of what they did in this life. And how they are going to heal from it, and if they want to come back, if they, how they want to move forward. And so don't think of it as that they're in somewhere scary. They're really in a place of pausing so that they can begin again. The trick or treat card I absolutely love because, and this Halloween oracle, I first, when I was about to buy it, I was like, oh, I don't know, this might be kind of cheesy. But the book itself adds so much more depth to these cards. It really makes the idea of trick-or-treating beautiful. And trick-or-treat, mischief and play. And so basically, what do we say when we go knock on doors? We say trick-or-treat, and theoretically you're supposed to choose, but we all just give treats. So you could play a trick on them or get a treat. Or maybe it's the other way, you get a trick played on you. I don't know. I've never had it happen because we don't even do that. But this really is a message for you to embrace both sides of your life a little bit more. One is mischief, tricking someone, that's mischief. Treat is kind of like playing. So mischief and play are two kind of dynamics. And sometimes we get too much into, the mischief side, the stress, the worry of life. And then the play side is like having fun, using your imagination. So kind of taking a step back, this card really, how I feel is they're trying to say, don't worry so much. Don't stress out so much. Have fun, play. Especially in regards to them. I feel like you guys, ever since they've passed, have decided, you know what, I can't enjoy life. I can't do X, Y, Z anymore because I need to grow up. I need to, I feel like some of you guys have masked it with I need to be more serious about life. I need to, plan things out more. I need to savor. It's you need to savor the time that you have left, but you're doing it in a very planning, methodical way that's just honestly way too, there's no room for fun. And basically, if I'm not making any sense, what I feel like this card is basically saying is you need to have fun. You need to have fun. You need to play around. This spirit, this person that used to be in your life is saying you've been too serious lately. Just have some fun. Okay. And then the next question I asked is, why did they come into your life? So I pulled the warrior and then feathers. So I'm just going to start over here with the feathers card. There's two messages here. Obviously, one is that they're definitely giving you signs through feathers, also maybe clouds, just looking up towards the sky. But the second part of this is definitely that they're your angel. They wanted to be your angel in this life. They wanted you to meet them in person first, and then, but have them be your angel, or your, not even an angel as much as a guide throughout the rest of your life. And there's some sort of balance here of saying, I couldn't just come in and be this guide because you might not have believed in me or seen me, but because you met me in person and you have such a strong connection to me, it's a lot easier for you to feel me now on the other side. There is something going on where they were supposed to maybe leave that way. They were supposed to not maybe last as long in this life as they, and I don't want to say they were like fated to die, but they had that choice of whether or not they wanted to push through it. But if they decided not to, like the goal was supposed to be, I'm going to guide you on this other side. And, while you're in this life, that is a role for me. Just because I've left doesn't mean I'm not still here helping you. Why they came into your life? To teach you how to find the warrior when you're in yourself. They're teaching you how to find your strength, how to find your toughness of will, how to rely on yourself. I'm really being drawn to the word strength. I feel like their passing has been very difficult on you, and it's taught you to be a lot stronger than you ever thought you would be. And I really think that their passing, again, with like this feathers card is, I don't want to say fated. I don't like that word, but in a way it sort of is. It's like they are meant to guide you on the other side. And it might feel like in this lifetime that you are alone a lot or very often or just sometimes. And they want you to learn to rely on yourself when it feels like you have no one else around you. But in actuality, you really do, just in the spirit world. And then I wanted to ask how you can communicate with them better. That's interesting. Okay. So this deck is kind of funny. So I pulled the House card. I feel like I always freaking pull this card in all my pick cards. Oh, I love this. We are soulmates. So the House card, I actually feel like, I know the image of this looks very like businessy, but I think the word is what I'm attracted to, the house. How you can connect with them better, being in your home, maybe setting up a space for them, taking time to connect with them, maybe in the place that they used to live, or maybe an area of your home that you used to hang out with them a lot. You could even set up like an altar or like put up a picture of them in this area and really just use it as a place to connect with them. There's something about you being at home that's going to connect with them better, which makes sense. That's probably where you spent a lot of your time with them. If you don't feel like you have that place, because I feel like a few of you are probably like, oh, I don't have access to that, or I don't live there anymore. Again, it's about creating a space in your home that you can feel at home, that reminds you of that nostalgic feeling of them. And, when you're sitting down to talk to them, write to them, whatever it may be, you're doing so in a place that just makes you feel like they're around, like they're basically in the next room. All right, sorry guys, my camera cut and I ended up pulling another card. But basically what I'm feeling with this We Are Soulmates is that you guys have so many ways that you can connect. Whether it be writing, dreams, like you guys are so connected, it doesn't matter how. Because your connection is so strong, you can talk to them out loud, you can say things in your head. There's really no barrier to you guys being able to communicate. And if you feel like there is, maybe just identify what it feels like is blocking your psychic ability to do that. And then this next card I pulled says, although you may not understand it now, everything happens for a reason, which is like, I just feel like this has been reiterating what I've basically been saying this whole reading of like, yeah, they might have left. They might have had a really rough life. Like we might see it as a failure, but really there was a reason behind it. And although you might not be able to see it now, you will see it. And they really do see it on that side. And I think you can even strive to understand it and communicate with them more, so that you can figure out what, might have happened and why it happened. But just understand that there's nothing, like they don't view this lifetime as a mistake. They really see it as a progression. Just because it was shorter than what you expected it to be doesn't mean that it was wrong or bad or a failure. And then I wanted to pull one last message from them. The Werewolf card, exploring wildness. And I'm kind of getting drawn back to that play card, the trick or treat card. This is all about, honestly, it's about finding the enjoyment in life again. I feel like for some of you, this person might have passed pretty recently. And so I know it doesn't seem like this werewolf is a very playful card, but it's basically saying, you know, the werewolf has two sides. One is his crazy, wild, primal side, and then the other is his like man version where he's analytical and boring and, you know. And it's really saying to encourage the side of you that howls at the moon and that has fun and plays and does things that are crazy and out there. Not saying necessarily destructive, which I feel like is how some of you might interpret that, but it's more about living life instead of just, you know, like I think the opposite is very much like a dude that like goes to work, gets all of his things done, you know, he's very much like stuck to a schedule, whereas the werewolf does what he wants when he wants. And I feel like they're wanting this message for whatever reason right now. You need more of this energy in your life. You need to play, you need to have fun, you need to let go. You need to really understand that like it's not a loss. They are still there. They are still communicating with you. This was part of the plan. They are guiding you. They are still able to have a future with you, even if it's not in a tangible way. Alrighty, pile number 1. I think that is it for you. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. I also have those links below for the decks. And I also have memberships, so if you're interested in those, check those out by clicking the blue join button on my page. And again, if you want to book a private reading with me, you can do that on my website. Or if you want to just leave me a tip for this reading, totally not expected at all, but I do have my Venmo down below. But yeah, guys, I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye. Alrighty, pile number 2. If you chose this pile, this reading is of your loved one. And so this first pile that I'm asking is basically I'm asking, who are they in relation to you? So then you can maybe better figure out who they are. And they're telling me to pull one more card. Oh, interesting. Now, before I read these cards, I am going to use my Astro Dice, and I do have these for sale on my website. These are fun, kind of little pumpkin Astro Dice that I made. There's little pumpkins on the inside, and they come with instructions, but one of the ways is you can use the dice that has all the 12 zodiac signs on it. Focus. And you can use that to figure out maybe what signs they were. And you can look it up basically by figuring out their birthday. Okay, so they might have been, what is 69? I always forget that one. I always want to say Scorpio, but I think that's Cancer. Okay, yeah, so it's Cancer. And then I'm going to roll it one more time. Cancer energy, or possibly, okay, and then this one was Sagittarius. You can't really see because I purposely didn't paint these ones so you could see the pumpkins on the inside. Okay, so they possibly had Sagittarius or Cancer energy, if that helps you identify who they were even more. Mystic, gambler, vampire. So I'm basically asking, like, what was their energy? Like, who were they? Like, what are good descriptives of them? Mystic, they might have been naturally more intuitive. They might have been closer to the divine. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're into metaphysics. This can just be that they are very in tune with their crown chakra. So it could be that they believe in God, they believe in whatever it is, but they were very connected with the divine. Yeah, these people were very intuitive. So this card says it's the gambler. Oh, okay, I'm hearing two things. So for some of you, they actually might have really struggled with this. They might have thought they were connected with that divine, but they probably weren't. I'm definitely getting like grandma energy, very religious for some of you. That might not be the case for everybody. Yeah, I think this person was sometimes a struggle to be around, either because they were so intuitive or they believed in something so wholeheartedly that they kind of just dismissed everyone else. Like, I know this says gambler, but I'm being drawn to like the description on the card a little bit more, which says, I feel like there's too big of a glare, but a willingness to follow your intuition even when others doubt you. I feel like they almost did that to a bad extent. Like, so this vampire energy is like, they might have done this to you. They might have like kind of drained your energy a lot. They might have, you know, even if it's not necessarily with this stuff, they might have been just a very draining person. I'm just going to turn this light down just a bit so you can see these cards better. Okay. It's interesting because I'm getting several different like people in front of me. So this could describe somebody that was very possibly religious, or very, like, I'm even getting like a hippie, like someone who was so, you know, in belief of this stuff, you know, that they just kind of ignored everyone else. And but basically what they did in this life was they kind of had a vampire energy. They drained other people around them, or maybe even they had a hard time shutting other people's energy out. They definitely like took on other people's stuff too much and it drained them. But at the core, they were a very intuitive person, but I think they had a hard time sort of shutting out other people's stuff or not putting their stuff on other people. So then I'm using my mediumship cards to basically ask, oh my gosh, this is almost the exact same as pile number 1. To basically ask, like, what, in regards to their passing, like, what do they have to say? And I have, it was my time to go, and I am here helping you. Like, literally, I pulled this card for pile number 1, and the other card was very similar. It was my time to go. And I'm just seeing, because it's so similar, I try not to say the exact same thing. I really try to go back to Spirit and say, okay, well, what does this card mean? I'm getting the sort of the similar energy of like, yes, it was my time to go. Interesting. It's almost like it was their time to go because they were being such a vampire, or they were being they were being vampired on. they were getting drained by this life too much. It was time to go because like it would have just gotten worse, is like what I'm hearing. And for some of you, like, this might have been like a medical thing of why they passed. Like, first pile I felt like was a little bit more sudden. Honestly, you know, I could be reading different people here, but it doesn't necessarily invalidate what I'm saying. It was my time to go. I know I'm missing something here, so I'm spending a little bit more time. I'm just hearing a lot of voices, and I'm trying to get a general, like, somebody give me, what does this mean? It would have been worse before, it would have been worse after. Like, it's more about the timing. Like, it was perfectly timed. I'm just gonna pull one more clarifying card here because this is so similar to pile 1. Oh, okay. The earth is our school. And I love this card because it's basically saying that, you know, while we're here on this planet, we learn things. While we're in this form, we learn the things that we want to learn. You know, we might even come into this life with a plan of what we want to learn, but I feel like their learning was complete. You know, they couldn't have learned much more. They couldn't have gotten much better. They've learned the lessons. They wouldn't have improved. Like, and I feel like it comes to this, the parts of themselves that weren't good, whether it was that they were leeching off of other people's energy, maybe they were, again, like, following their intuition so much that they just like would not listen to anyone else. Because the shadow sides of these cards, delusional rapport with the divine, like, it would have just gotten worse, and they needed to learn those lessons of, you know, being intuitive, being an energy sucker, or being having their energy sucked. What it feels like is that they couldn't have improved. Like, they wouldn't have gotten better. So some of you are thinking, oh, well, maybe if they stuck around longer, or maybe if I did something or said something, they could have become a better person and not so angry or so resentful or so hopeless or so desperate. Like, I'm getting all of these energies. Like, I feel like half of this group is kind of like they were the problem, and then the other half is like the people around them were the problem. And I think that they learned what they needed to learn, and there was nothing more. So it was their time to go. As far as I am here helping you, I feel like this is actually a card about signs. Like, they're giving you the signs that they're here, that they want to help. I feel like we're not giving them that credit, though, because of who they were in this life, you know. like, who are you? You drained all of our energy before. Why would I let you come in and help me? Or vice versa. I'm having a little bit harder time with this pile because there's one female energy that is so freaking strong. I don't like her. She's just like I feel like she not only impacted you, but so many people in your family. Or maybe even your friend circle. I forgot to say that these could be family or friends. But you know, what I'm getting with my guides right now is if this person was a drain or a negative energy in your life, that does not mean, and literally this codependency is peeking through, which to me says it wasn't a healthy relationship, and I think it is okay for you to not accept this help. A lot of people think that just because someone is in spirit that they have to communicate with them, that they have to like talk with them, but really they still have biases. They still have agendas sometimes, not all the time. And just because they say, hey, I think you should go do this, doesn't mean you have to listen to them. I'm kind of getting that same energy with this person. Like, I feel like they might even be an energy drain in this life. And it's funny because when I'm saying these things, I see like branches in my mind of how this applies to different people that are listening to this. Like, I feel like some of you, this vampire energy is that you're thinking about them all the time and it's still sucking your energy. I feel like this spirit could come in and drain some of you. I feel like some of you, it's that they drained you in the life where they were living. There's just not the best energy around this person, and I'm just wanting to say you don't have to entertain it. All right, and so then I asked for a message from them. Lots of food going on here. So the food coming through right away to me just says, like, for some of you, this is like a grandma or like grandparent that you just did not get along with. It could even be like aunt, uncle, you know, somebody in your family that just wasn't, I feel like they were kind of like the hierarchy, like they were the top person in the family. They made all the decisions. So it's funny because this message is very much about like where you're at in life right now. So the mummy is basically talking about change. Like change is coming, change is inevitable. Like you really can't fight it. No matter how hard you try, things will not always be the exact same. This card indicates that change will be for the better. The endings, the closed doors, the barriers, this is just a healthy pause and an indication that a change of tactics is needed. You are not cursed, you have just developed a pattern. You can take control and change it. And I think it's very interesting that this is coming from this person because I feel like that's what they did in this life. They were very much like trying to change and control and do everything like that to everyone around them and to their life. And I feel like their message to you is like, look, you can't fight it. It's coming. And when I say it's coming, I feel like it's actually good things coming, especially with this card. This says sweetness and synergy. But I feel like they're trying to come in and say, look, I controlled a lot of things in my life and it really led me down the wrong path. And I really want you to learn from it and do something different. Like, don't do what I do. Don't try to control, allow it to flow. And then Barmbrack, this is a new deck for me. Oh, this is kind of cool. So this is like a bread loaf, and inside a pea, a cloth, a coin, a ring, and a stick. Within a loaf of speckled sweetness, slice it and eat it. A glimpse of my fate's completeness. Oh my gosh, I love that. And the reason why I keep saying like I feel like this is a grandma is because of the baking. Maybe this person actually did like bake with you a lot. This is an Irish tradition that stands around Halloween time. The person baking the loaf would set the intention for love, truth, and synergy. Inside, they put a couple of objects. The objects are used as a random oracle. Each has a particular meaning which represents the fate of the person who found it in their slice. So you like cut it, deal it out, and then whoever gets, you know, one of those items, the pea, cloth, coin, ring, stick, it has different meanings. That is so cool. I'll have to look more into that. Maybe, you know, that's a fun little thing that you could do with your family this Halloween time. But basically at the heart of this card, it's saying that there's a curiosity, something that lies ahead, you know, change that could happen. You want it to happen, but it's important to balance, you know, your control or your lack of control. And basically saying that you have the ability to change your future. And I think that this person that is giving you this message, they did this in their life, but to a negative degree. And they really want you to do it better than they did. And the risk and reward, like they really want you to still be risky. Like maybe there's parts of you that are like, oh, well, I can't do that. And maybe it's even because of like what this person did in this life of, you know, maybe they were very risky. Maybe they did things that you would just be like, oh my gosh. But I feel like they did those things and it did help them. Like it did give them rewards of some type. It just might not be the same kind of rewards that you would want. But I feel like they're just encouraging you to push forward in life, to be risky, to make changes, to accept it into your life. Like good things are here. I feel like you're just kind of like hiding behind some fear, or maybe even a fear of like being like this person. And they're really saying like, no, you know, you're going to do it because you see the right way to do it. But that doesn't mean you can't be risky with it. You can't push forward. You can't have those good things in life. So it's interesting to me because even though I feel like this person is very biased, they're really coming and giving you a message that I feel like is for your highest and best good right now. And it's coming from a place of like them not doing it correctly in their life. Okay, so then I asked, why did they come into your life? And I pulled the Queen in reverse. Like what was their purpose of being in your life at this time? I feel like it was really to take you off your pedestal. Like the fact that I pulled the Queen in reverse to me says like they were trying to like beat you down in some sort of way. They were being arrogant. Says becomes arrogant when authority is challenged, controlling and demanding. I feel like that's them. I feel like they acted that way in this life so that you had to learn to rise above it, to not let it affect you, to be better. And I actually feel like some of you might still be struggling with that. But really the challenge is to find your own inner queen. And an inner queen is somebody who radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. I really see this as somebody that's open, somebody that's sure of themselves, somebody that's not withholding or tries to control. Because, you know, queens could definitely be like that. They have this whole land that they're ruling over, let's say, but to do it in a benevolent way, in a way that you don't try to control people, let people do their own thing, but you're also confident and assured in yourself. Like that's a hard challenge. And I feel like you're destined for that. You know, even if you're a man that's watching this, you know, think of the similar energy. It's about, it's not necessarily based on gender. It's really about stepping into that inner power, and it comes so naturally to you. And this person's role in your life was to really make you question that, so that you could be like, no, you know, no matter what, I will claim this energy. You know, this was an obstacle. This person was kind of in my way to make me doubt that. But if you can really accept that within yourself, I think you're going to really overcome that. And I don't even want to say overcome it as much as like step into it. Okay, and then the next cards I pulled are, how can you communicate with this person better? Again, with this pile, I don't know if you have to. You do not have to, especially if they're going to drain you now. Okay, so the time card to me says like, take your time. If you need to wait until you've passed and then you're going to go chat with them, feel free. Like I'm getting total permission that you do not have to talk with this being at all. This family member, spirit guide. What am I trying to say? Yeah, this family member. I definitely don't feel like this is a spirit guide in any way, because I don't feel like a spirit guide would have such a low vibration. How can you communicate with them better? I actually, for this chakra card, I feel like aligning your chakras a little bit more, maybe clearing out any residual effects that they might have had to your chakras. Like, for example, if they are really getting at you and making you question your authority and your confidence, then maybe your solar plexus chakra could be cleansed every now and then, anytime that you're having issues feeling confident. And so anytime you feel like, you know, hey, I'm doing something that this person might have done, or I'm cropping up this old pattern that they might have had, maybe just do a chakra cleanse. And that can just be as simple as doing a little meditation. Like, it doesn't have to be anything big, but you could also get like Reiki. But I think when you do clear out your chakras, I'm seeing it as more like you'll find yourself more, and then it'll be so much easier to differentiate between your energy and this person's energy if you do want to communicate with them. But you really need to be in a good place in order to do that, so that you're not getting affected by their energy, even if it's on the other side. All right, and then the last message from this person. Spirit, Lady de los Muertos. Acceptance and equality. Oh, I feel like this person was such a struggle in this lifetime because they're so much like you. And there's so much resentment still there because there's probably so much of them that you see within yourself. And it's like you're really trying to like ignore those parts of yourself or beat them out of yourself. But this is really a call to acknowledge them, to accept them, to witness them, and to do better. Like, this person was the perfect example of how not to do things. And you get inundated with the same things. You get the same kind of things happening in your life, but your challenge is to do it better. So I feel like this card is really about accepting this person as being an influence in your life, as part of your life. And then the equality card is really just trying to say that you're not above them and they're not above you. And I feel like this person on the other side is also working with this. They are also trying to heal this themselves. And I'm just reading the card to see if there's anything that I might have missed here. And this is really sticking out to me. If you are holding on to something that does not serve you any longer, simplify and let it go. And I feel like this is just, again, the things that you see in this person that might crop up in your life as well. And I don't know if I said it, but for communicating with them, if you want to communicate with them sooner, just know that it might be better to communicate with them after a while. Like, you know, they're still healing on their side too. When our friends and family members pass, they're not like completely perfect. You know, they're still working on the things that they learned in this life. And so, oh, sorry, there's an ambulance going by. But I think that this is really about learning that they might need some time themselves to talk to you in a more enlightened way. And it might be just that, you know, it could happen really quickly, it could happen very slowly, that they start to turn into a more high vibrational being. Alrighty, pile number 2. That was your reading. Remember to check out the decks in the link in the description down below. If you want to get your own set of Astro Dice, you can do that on my website. And feel free to subscribe and even check out some of my memberships. I do private readings. You can also get those through my website. And if you really enjoyed this, feel free to leave me a tip. You totally do not have to. It's just there if you feel inclined. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Alrighty, pile number 3. Who are we talking to is where I want to start so that we can further identify who this spirit might be. And I might actually pull one more. So I have Thief and Knight. So this might have been roles that they were playing in your life. And I will say that as I was pulling these cards, it's interesting how I shift from pile to pile, how I immediately feel like a different type of energy come in. So for some of you, this is definitely maybe someone that you might have had a romantic connection with, because like when I think of Thief, I think of like you feeling like their heart was stolen, or your heart, a piece of your heart has been missing ever since they've gone. And the fact that I pulled Knight as well, like to me, I think of Knight in shining armor, princes, like and this card even says loyalty, romance, chivalry, love, and honor. So this might have been maybe a spouse or somebody that you just had a very romantic connection with at some point, and now they're gone. This person, though, was very good. Like, I was also picking up on an uncle, and I just feel like the energy of this person is like, they were so good. And it's such a shame because you're like, ugh, why did they leave? They had so many good things going for them in life. They were such a good person. It's like, if this happened to them, like, why is how I kind of feel like you were when they passed. I do feel like for some of you, this was a while ago, but again, that just might be some of you. And so I'm going to go ahead and use these astro dice. One of the ways you can use these is to figure out what signs they might have been. So I'm going to take the dice that has all 12 zodiac signs on it, and I'm just going to see if we can't get maybe their sign. I think, so we got Scorpio. They could have had Scorpio in their chart. Let's roll one more time. They're telling me to roll a third time. So they might have been a Libra, and they might have been an Aries. And like when I think of Libra and Scorpio, I really feel like those are very sensitive people who really, if they let you into their inner circle, like it's a privilege. And they're all about, I should say Libras are about like harmony. Aries, I feel like, is maybe just for a select few, especially because Aries are very pushy and bullheaded, and maybe I shouldn't even say bullheaded as much as like they go after the things that they want. And so maybe if you were feeling like none of this was describing the person that was coming through, maybe that was for you. But overall, I feel like this person, like when they passed, they took a part of you with them. Like I definitely feel that energy, especially with a heart here and heart there. And they were just really good people. So I wanted to ask in regards to their passing, and I will say they wanted to say a lot to you because they wanted me to pull so many cards, and I was like, I have to keep it short. Like I can't pull all the cards in the deck. I am standing right next to you. I would pause it right here and see if you can't feel this person. I feel like a lot of you already do feel this person a lot. But even if you don't, they're like saying, stop right now and sense me. Like I am in the room with you, literally. Like I can be here at your beck and call. All you have to do is stop and pay attention. Like try to spatially find them in relation to you right now. And to me, the fact that they're wanting to do this is they're really just wanting you to understand that they are still there. Maybe there's a part of you that doubts that they are still there. If you felt like you could pick them out anywhere in that room, or maybe you just felt like they were there, or maybe you saw a flash of them, or something, just know that that's them trying to communicate to you. And the fact that this is, we are soulmates, to me that just further says that it's probably a romantic connection. And it was probably so hard to lose this person because of it. And I know I always say like soulmates are kind of one of those things that is just like, I feel like we have multiple soulmates, but really I do feel like this was one of your people. This is somebody that you really loved, not just in this life, but in previous lives too. I wanted to just pull one more. Remember me by the happy memories we created. And if you like this deck, you can get this. I will link it down below. These are the mediumship cards. I love them because they basically are phrases that like they might be saying. And I feel like because they're such a huge part of your heart, it feels like you dwell a lot on the lack, on what's missing, on what's not there. And they really want you to stop dwelling on the negative and remember the positive. And I feel like that's hard, especially when it's been so long since they've been gone. And I'm literally thinking of a quote. And I want to pull it up really quick because I feel like they're saying, pull this up. I don't feel like this was quite it, but it kind of gets at what I was saying. And this was actually by another medium. Her name's Courtney Dawson. It says, grief is really just love. It's all the love you want to give but cannot. All that unspent love gathers up in the corner of your eyes, the lump in your throat, and in that hollow part of your chest. Grief is just love with no place to go. And I love that because I feel like they're trying to say, like, when you feel these emotions, you are interpreting them as something negative, but really what you're feeling is this love. And and channel this into things that are more positive instead of focusing so much on the negative of it, the loss, the fact that they aren't there, which I know is easier said than done. And if you need to take time to grieve, please take time to do that. But that's at least what they're saying. They want you to focus on. Okay. And then I asked them to give a message, for you. I just got, whoa, that was weird. I haven't had that happen in a while. I don't even know how to describe that. It's like I got this like whoosh in my ears, like something was passing by really quickly. That was totally their energy. I feel like that was, I would categorize that as maybe clairaudient. I'm not sure, but just know that that's them trying to get your attention. They're very like present here. Some spirits are kind of far away and harder to communicate, I would say, but this spirit for these spirits for this group are very much like earthly, I would say. Okay, so their message to you: authenticity, acceptance, and equality, where all things positive begin again. Okay, and this is in relation to like how you see the future of your relationship with them. Right now, you feel like they're not there. You feel like they're gone. You feel like they're invisible. Again, it's like you're so focused on that lack. And I just pulled this card for the last group, but I'm actually feeling like the part that's sticking out to me about this card now is that this is basically saying like death is a part of life. You have to accept that. Like you have to accept that this is what happens. Like there's no going back. This is the process. And it's almost like they're saying to me like, you knew the deal coming in that you would have to leave. It's almost like they're saying like you forgot that that's what happens in this world. Which I know you probably know that, but this is about accepting the fact that this person is gone and no longer in your life, but realizing also that they're not invisible. They really aren't. They're still there. And I pulled this card in another pile, and the underworld is all about, it really seems scary, but like with this fruit, it's really about the abundance of it. It's really, the underworld in a lot of cultures is seen as a place of pausing, resting, beginning again, kind of like gathering your things together, figuring out what you want to do next, healing even. And so it's really not the underworld in a negative way. It's really in a positive way of like, look, I'm on the other side here, pausing. I'm renewing, I'm resting, I'm waiting, possibly even for you, so that I can begin again. And I want you to, I think the message here from them is they really want you to understand like they are gone and this is the process. And this is what was supposed to happen, and it was always going to happen, whether it was then or now or in the future. And you're going to have to do this too. And I'm just asking like why this is so important for you to know. And I think it's because some of you guys just feel like you can reverse this. I feel like in your head, you're playing out all the scenarios of like how it could have not happened this way. And it's not helpful. It's that negativity that you're focusing on that we need to get rid of. All right. And then I asked, why did they come into your life? And I pulled the angel, and then I also pulled gossip in reverse. So gossip in reverse to me says, it's less about the shadow side and more about the light side. So all of these cards have both good and bad qualities to them. So what is the good quality of gossiping? It's about considering the feelings of others, trust, honoring other people. So I feel like this person really came in to teach you that, to teach you how to be better to other people, honestly. More trusting of other people, more considerate of other people's feelings. You really see them as an angel in your life. And I think that's because that soulmate connection, again, it's like they helped those in need with no expectation in return. That's just so, these two cards go so well together. And I think because of that, it's like that's exactly what you needed in this life. And that's what they came in to help you with. And maybe remember to keep moving that gift forward that they gave you. Because I feel like some of you have definitely closed yourself off to other people, especially new relationships. For some of you, this person definitely is giving you permission to move on in your own time. But they definitely came here to help you level up with improving the relationships in your life. Okay. And then this card, I basically asked, how can you communicate with them a little bit better? And to me, this time card, one, I'm getting for some of you, it might be numerology. So some of you guys might see numbers, especially angel numbers, and you might be thinking of them. That's possibly one way that they're communicating with you. For some of you, this is understanding that it might take time to hear them. You need to heal from this in a lot of ways. And for some of you, you might have already kind of been through that process. Some of you might still be in that. Just don't beat yourself up and think that they're not there because you can't hear them, see them. Sometimes it takes time for you to really get past the emotions of it, because really your emotions can impact whether or not you're picking up psychic information. If you're so emotional about things, it's really hard to hear what Spirit has to say. But just know that my channel is here as a resource for learning how to do that more. Okay. And then I asked for one last message from this Spirit Hearth. Happiness in our hearts and homes. Oh, I love this. All right. If you haven't done so already, oh my gosh, this is coming through so clear for some of you guys. So, if it's for Halloween this year, if it's for Thanksgiving, Christmas, this season, you need to make your home comfy and cozy, invite this spirit in, and really dedicate some time to them. And this is again for a select few of you. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. But I'm seeing very, very much so setting up, not even an altar, but it's almost I see you alone, not necessarily inviting other people over, baking a dinner or making dinner and lighting candles, making your house comfy, cozy, just like this photo, and really just pretending that they are there and you're making a dinner and you're spending time with them that evening. And I'm specifically seeing you sitting in silence and just eating and imagining as if they were there and being aware of their energy. Now, if this is too soon, if this is going to be too painful, obviously do not do this. But for some of you who it's been a long time, do this. No one else is gonna know. You're sitting in the comfort of your home, you're listening to music, you're baking a nice meal, you're at candlelight. Do something to remember them. Even if you want to, you can sit there and talk to them out loud. You can talk to them in your head if that feels weird. But do something to honor them. And really, if you're not really resonating with that, what I'm really feeling with this card is that connecting with the energy in your home with this person is going to really bring about releasing them a little bit more, but also strengthening your connection in a good way. And it's something about being in this home energy that's warm, that's inviting, that's comforting, that's really going to help you feel them a lot better. And so I think they're providing this ritual. They're laying this out to me in a way because they want to present themselves. They want you to be able to feel them, talk to them, really lean into your intuition and hear them more so that they can talk to you. But again, if this makes you uncomfortable, don't do it. It's again more about understanding that when you're happy at home, you're happy in your heart and you're able to connect to them a little bit more. And again, I feel like it'll help release some of the old stuff around them that might have been paining you up until this moment. And I think you'll realize that as you sit down and feel those feelings, they'll pass, and what will be left is only the good, warm hearth. Oh, I love that. I mean, and I feel like for some of you too, this could even be a group thing that you do if you really want to, with several of your family members. I think that's such a fantastic idea. Alrighty, pile number 3, thank you so much for watching. That was your reading. Remember to subscribe, and if you want to book a private reading with me, right now I am doing those, and you can book those through my website. All these decks are linked down below, and I also have memberships on my channel, so definitely check those out. clicking the blue join button, you can see all of those different tiers. And if you really enjoyed this reading, feel free to give me a tip. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but my Venmo is down below just in case. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Alrighty, welcome pile number 4. So I want to get started and just ask about who this person was in relation to you so that we can understand who we are talking to better. And I will say, as I was pulling these cards, I was getting such a clear energy behind this pile, and it really to me felt like somebody who was like no nonsense, like definitely like sisterly energy. And again, if that doesn't describe this person, that's okay. That just might be for a few of you. But this person is very just like quick to the point. They're just like, just pull cards. They're very impatient people, or they would have been impatient people, I should say. I pulled the rebel, the artist, the femme fatale. Like, I'm definitely getting more of a female energy around this. Again, that doesn't necessarily mean that they were female, but maybe how they were perceived in this life was femme fatale. You know, this is really like, the person who's just okay with their sexuality, who's okay, like they don't need to be saved. They're not necessarily looking for any relationship or any person to come in and save them. This is really like somebody who's independent. They are definitely not codependent. Maybe they were very like erotic or sexual or very just confident in themselves. But I definitely was picking up that confidence beforehand. Artist, this could literally be that they were an artist, or they could have expressed a dimension of life that is just beyond the 5 senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. They were somebody who, you know, I wouldn't say is your average person. They really tried to see things in a different light and really expose other people to it. I feel like, especially with this rebel card, I feel like they did things just to like get a rise out of people sometimes. But they didn't do it for a negative way. Like, this person was really good about it. They did it because they could see that it needed to cause something to happen, to make things better. Somebody who's a rebel in a good way challenges authority to affect social change. They reject spiritual systems that do not serve their inner needs. So again, very independent energy is what I'm getting from this person. I think they did what they wanted, and they didn't care what other people thought about them. That's definitely the energy that I'm getting. And then these Astro Dice, I made these, and if you want to get your own, you can on my website. These are my pumpkin themed Astro Dice, and I'm actually doing some giveaways this month if you're watching. And one of the things you can do is take the zodiac sign dice and roll it to possibly get what their signs were. So that is a Libra. They could have been a Libra, or they could have been, I think that's Capricorn. Let me double check. Yeah, that's Capricorn. Okay. So maybe they were a Libra or a Capricorn. That's just one of the fun ways you can use these Astro Dice. Now I wanted to ask, kind of like in regards to their passing, how did they feel about it? Because a lot of us sometimes are worried about how somebody might have passed. I wish I had told you more often how much I love you. I feel like for some of you, this might have been like a really good friend. Somebody that was so independent that they felt like maybe they couldn't get really deep with you sometimes, but you felt that connection anyways. And so I think they're definitely regretting like maybe not telling you that more often. In regards to their passing, although you may not understand it now, everything happens for a reason. Especially in regards to their passing, like I feel like it's just confusing. Like why? I feel like when you look at the situation, you're like, why? Like it doesn't make sense, like with who they are. I don't know if it was like somebody else, like an accident, or like I'm just getting accident, you know, whether it was caused by somebody else or them. And again, this might not be everybody, but it doesn't make sense with how they lived their life. And I think this is confirmation that you're right. It doesn't make sense. Like you think that the way that they would have passed would have gone differently, and like it should have, yes, but there was a bigger plan that they didn't see, that you don't even see, but it will make sense one day. Interesting. If I had only known then what I know now, I would have lived differently. And I feel like this is in regards to like them being so, I feel like they pushed a lot of people away because they wanted people so badly. Like they wanted that love and that acceptance. And so to do that, they tried to be weird and different and cool and unique and independent. But in actuality, it sort of made them distance themselves from other people. And I think that's what this is in regard to. Like, I wish I would have let more people in, is definitely the thing that I'm getting. And if this is like a sister, like, please know that they're saying, like, especially with our relationship, there's nothing that you could have done to make it stronger. Like, I pushed you away. You did what you could, is definitely what I'm hearing. Okay. And then I asked for just a message for you from them. Ooh. Interesting. Okay. This is my new Halloween Oracle deck that I specifically bought for this video because I wanted it and now I have an excuse to use it. Remembrance. So there's two messages here. If you haven't already remembered them in some way, like done some sort of celebration of life, like this is a call to do so. Like I feel like in your mind, you're like, you've chalked this up to be like such a small relationship in your life, and they're saying like, no, like we were still friends, we were still sisters, you know, whatever it was. Those are just the two that are really coming across to me. Like I feel like you have said, oh well, I can't remember them because I didn't know them that well. Like that's what you've put in your mind. Moving forward, you've sort of like chalked it up to that, and so you feel like you're not worthy of remembering this person. And so this is really like a call to do something. And I think I have a video on like different ways you can remember people. So you can like buy things for their ashes. You can go out, you know, maybe I don't have a video, but if you want to see that, maybe let me know. But you could like light a candle in their name. You could have a fancy dinner with them, was what I was getting from the last pile. You could just simply put a picture of them up in your house. You could get a bracelet that commemorates them. Like, it really doesn't matter, but they want you to somehow find a little bit of closure with it. Now, the other message that I was getting was that for those of you who have already done this, this is like such a huge thank you. Like the way you remembered me or continue to remember me, I am so appreciative of that you still have not forgotten me. They are so thankful for that. And then the second card, Trick or Treat. This is all about playing, having fun, mischief and play. And that's like the energy of this person is what I'm getting. Like that's who they were in this life. And they want you to remember to do that. And I feel like that's why you enjoyed having them in your life, was because you're not really, I feel like you're a little bit more timid and maybe not the person to go out and do crazy things. But they're like, do it, live, have fun. Like there's no regrets there, like no regrets. And so I think this message is just about playing, having fun with life, remembering to do that more in their honor is kind of what I'm feeling like with this remembrance card. Now the Skull of Darkness, blind spots. Don't let this freak you out. This deck is actually kind of beautiful and really sweet with like the descriptions that it gives. I just want to check Skull of Darkness because I have not read this card before. I feel like this is kind of like a separate message of like right now there's things in life that you might not be able to see, like blind spots, like things that aren't clear to you right now. Maybe it's even in regards to their passing. I think that's actually what it's about. Like maybe you felt betrayed, maybe you felt like it was such a weird thing that happened. Maybe you have actually felt like this has happened several times with some of the people that are around you. But this is saying that like, yes, there's something that you're not seeing right now. Like you're not crazy, there's not something wrong. This is just what's happening right now, and there's things that you don't see right now in this current moment, and that's okay. And I feel like that's supposed to give you assurance, like it's okay that you don't see the full big picture. You're not supposed to right now, and that's okay. But I think you will. And that's assurance that you'll get there. Okay, then I wanted to ask why they came into your life. That's interesting. I pulled the Mother card to nurture you. Actually, I feel like this is the other way around. Well, I think for some of you, this person was in a way kind of like a mother to you. Maybe they were some of your mothers. And in another way, I feel like some of you, when I flipped this card over, were like, oh my God, I can like feel that energy already. Or maybe it's that you felt like you had to be a mother to them. And for some of you, like you're not supposed to play that role. You're not supposed to be their mom. But there was definitely a dynamic where somebody needed nurturing. Somebody needed to kind of baby the other person and give them love even when they were being ridiculous or silly or stupid or, arrogant. And I think there's definitely some regrets there of like getting mad at them, or maybe even just like cold shouldering them or not giving them attention because they were so independent. And like the message there is like, don't feel guilty about that. The past is in the past. It's over. They were supposed to be in your life to either give or to receive this nurturing energy, which is interesting after describing their personality, because I feel like I wouldn't, like on the outside, describe that person as that way. But I think maybe under that facade, that's who they were. That's who they wanted to be. And maybe they just didn't know how to express that. I mean, it makes sense because those first couple cards, like I felt like the reason why they acted out and were so independent is really they wanted people in their life. They wanted that closeness. They wanted this nurturing, mothering energy. Wow, I love that card. Okay, so that was why they came into your life. And the next cards I pulled were, how can you communicate with me? Ooh, travel. I mean, if you need an excuse to travel, there you go. I'll start with a travel card. So that could be that, literally traveling. Maybe that's something that you did together. Maybe that's something that you wanted to do together and didn't ever get around to. But something about that will make you feel connected with them. Honestly, I think it's because they had such a light, adventurous energy. I feel like you would just connect with them a lot because it's almost like you're matching their energy by traveling. And so therefore it's like you end up calling in their energy a lot more just because you're in it. I hope that makes sense. And then the numbers card. So they might be communicating to you through numbers. This might be a call to learn about numerology. I'm actually hearing for some of you, it might be astrology because there are numbers involved with astrology. It's actually pretty darn mathematical. And so that might be one of the ways that you can connect with them. I want to pull one more because I feel like both of these are a little difficult. Like going out of your way to learn all about numerology might be tough. And traveling is like a budget thing that you can't always accomplish. Okay, I knew this was going to come up because I was going to say, you could just use your intuition. And that's basically what this card is. Your third eye, the third eye is just the chakra term for your intuition. It's the chakra kind of in between your eyes, right above. And that's your ability to communicate with other spirits. So if you're new to my channel, that's basically all I teach is how to connect with that intuition more. So check out some of my other videos if you feel like you are just getting started with your intuition, which makes sense because I feel like when a lot of people are getting started, they'll see a lot more basic signs. And I don't want to say basic as if it invalidates it, but it's almost like they're easier signs to pay attention, like numbers, because they're a lot simpler to see and they reoccur and they're so tangible. It's a lot easier to pay attention and remember them. All right, and then the last card I asked for was one last message for you. This is the exact same card that I got for the last group. I'm gonna just pull a few more, or one more, just to make sure it's a little different. I did shuffle these, I swear. Ooh, okay. I was like, I know there's a new meaning to this card. Okay. Hearth and ancestors, the love, sorry, that was probably really loud. The love and legacy of our DNA. This is why I felt like this is such a, like a sister family member energy. So for those of you who do feel like this is a family member, really understanding like your lineage, understanding your ancestors, like really connecting to all of them, not just this person, will help you understand the dynamics of like why they were in your life, why they left your life the way that they did. The love and legacy of our DNA. I feel like there's like a huge message packed in here that I feel like I could do a whole nother reading on. And it's basically saying there's a lot more to unpack with the way you guys are related, both spiritually and physically. There's a lot more there. Especially with this tree, you know, as above, so below. There's a lot more that's connecting you guys over time, over many lifetimes. And so if you're really curious more about like how you two knew each other before and maybe even after this lifetime, I would do just, you know, meditations, past life regressions, do anything that might help you connect with ancestors or this person in spirit. And with the Hearth card, this is all about being at home and feeling really happy with home life. And so when you're connected with home, honestly, I'm feeling like when you're with other family members, this will help you kind of anchor, like I'm really feeling your heart chakra. You'll be able to anchor into, oh yeah, this is what family, this is what this goodness feels like. And I feel like this is honestly just more ways to connect with this person is this last message. And being at home and really connecting with family, both physically and spiritually, might unlock some very interesting doors from you. So I would dive more into ancestral work. I wish I could like give more suggestions outside of that. I wish I knew, but if I ever come across them, I will share them, obviously. Alrighty, pile number 4, that was your reading. I hope this resonated. Again, the decks are linked down below, and please subscribe if you're new here. I come out with all sorts of fun videos, and I hope that they help you out on your journey to developing your psychic abilities. And if you really enjoyed this reading, feel free to give me a tip. Totally not expected, but my Venmo is down below. And if you want to reach out to me for a private reading, I am doing those right now. All you have to do is go onto my website and book a reading. Awesome, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.